Good morning, you guys. There's two lists, right? There's a list that is given to us that tells us this is how you get love. This is how you gain community. This is how you gain safety. And then doing anything outside of that and the opposite of that is going to threaten those things. People aren't going to see you as desirable. You won't have friends. You won't ever find love. You'll never have safety. You'll never have a place, a home, food. People will look at you weird. People will shame you. They will demonize you. They'll laugh at you. We are taught these things at really young ages, and it follows us through our life. Not only do these ideologies follow us, but we see the consequences and this actually playing out in real time. If you are a person that decides like, you know what, I'm going to be myself, I'm going to show the world who I really am, I'm going to say what comes out of my brain of what I'm thinking, and regardless if it's not a script that I'm kind of taught on how I should say things, I'm going to be vulnerable. I'm going to show the world what I'm going through. I'm not going to let a job slave me and work me to death. I'm not going to deem myself lazy because I think working is actually stupid outside of sustaining the planet and the species within it. I'm going to cry, I'm going to laugh, I'm going to scream, I'm going to say cringe shit, I'm going to do cringe shit. I'm not always going to be upkept and super clean and put together. I'm not going to take all my photos from certain angles and multiple filters and edits. I'm going to learn to love myself and to allow the sun to hit those imperfections and to just be happy and free. And again, this one where they tell you like this is what's going to give you the safety and to feel loved and to feel seen is always very surface level. It's always like, let us take control of you. Work really hard. If you look a certain way, you'll find love. People will think you're smart if you just reiterate the same shit that we've taught you. People will think you're cool if you never show emotions or show when you are going through something. If you do exactly what we say too, we won't take your housing away from you or like your food, which is really just something that you should get free. And also people won't shame you and like attack you physically. I spent so much of my life in that, which has done nothing but for me garner a lot of insecurity, of fear, a lot of anger, a lot of restraint, physical restraint, to where like I was having trouble peeing, to where I was having blurred vision, I was having a lot of headaches. Because like I've said before, like feeling fear and trauma and anxiety, these aren't just words and these aren't just things, like you feel them internally and physically. So deciding not to feel that way, deciding to feel good and to place value within myself and my natural thoughts and how I naturally look, realizing that I don't need to really do anything in order for people to love me. And my life doesn't have to be hard in order for me to have basic things like housing and food, in order for me to live a life that is actually like freeing and happy. Those are things that I've learned throughout my journey, and it's like now that I'm this person and by doing so has strayed me, and by doing so has rid me of so much of this thinking and all these layers, which now has me being this person that people who once knew me and people who are just now starting to get to know me, like I'm being seen as that person who's crazy. I'm being seen as that person that's like on drugs or going through it, who's weak, not seen as desirable. It's just really crazy to see like those things play out in real time. And being someone who's not going to be enslaved to a job, if I could even find a job that would actually give me hours, but deciding not to become a slave to like capitalism and like being worked like a dog, seeing the negative consequences that come out of that, like again, my housing being threatened, not knowing if I'm going to be able to eat. Some would say that that's just like what happens, but like I'm here to tell you that these are like purposeful and intentional consequences of people who decide to not live in a certain way, a certain binary, a certain structure that has been literally made up. I say so many times, the human experience, our human design, we want to feel loved, we want community, we want to feel safe. Those two things, when you aren't doing that, all of that is threatened, and that's for a reason. They want you to think that if you show yourself, you will be a weirdo and people won't want to be around you. If you don't enslave yourself, that you will be homeless and you won't be able to eat and you won't be able to do all of these things. You won't be able to like take care of your parents or go to the hospital and check on yourself if something is to happen. That is intentional. They understand what moves humans. The good thing is that when you do just decide to be yourself, which is always going to oppose this thing and this ideology of how we're allegedly who we allegedly are and how we're allegedly supposed to move and think and coexist in this world. It's always surface level, so made up, so not true. When you prioritize being yourself and listening to what you actually want, what you actually need, and being yourself and showing up as that in this society, you always end up feeling the consequence of that. But I'm saying these things because there are people that have once knew me when I was in that mindset, when I was very traumatized and very afraid of being myself, where I really did not even understand anything outside of that universe. And then there are people who see me that come across my page now, where I am someone who values being myself, authenticity, and going against this made up structure. And they see a person who is crazy. They see a person that is on drugs, which I'm not. They see a person who is begging or, because I'm being vulnerable, but the fact that I don't know how I'm going to pay the rest of my rent. They see somebody who is soft or emotional because I show my lows also with my highs. They see someone who isn't desirable because I don't try and filter myself up and edit and post only certain angles and wear things that I know people want to see. They see me as someone who thinks I know it all, which I don't. Thinks he's better than everyone, which he doesn't, have never felt. I'm just now getting to a point where I feel like I'm actually equal to people around me, is what I'm saying. And it's so crazy. The reason why people feel this way is just because I'm someone who will stand firm in my experiences and how they made me feel. And I'm also standing firm in the fact that people deserve rights, not only within America, but around the world. And that they deserve to decide how that life looks like for them. And by standing on that, so many people who have once knew me, who are so used to just being in this binary, so used to shaming people who ask for these types of things, being myself and standing on the things I stand on is also threatening that community, threatening that love, threatening that wanting to be seen. And I feel like what is expected out of humans is to feel that and be afraid and to go back and to be oh, actually no, I'm not gonna do what feels right for me, and I'm gonna, because I want to feel that. I want to feel that love. I want to feel that safety. Because those false senses of happiness and safety and feeling love, they're just false senses. They're not real. I'm happy that I'm not doing that. And now, on my new platforms that I have, because I deleted all my TikTok, my Instagram, my everything, and got new ones. Really for this reason, because I feel like so many people had this idea of me, and I just wasn't in a digital community that I wanted to be part of anymore. It's now people are following me because they're following me. They like me and they like the way I look, and they like the things that I'm doing and what I'm saying because they like that me. It isn't anyone else or anything else. And that feeling is so fulfilling. Even if it's only 6 likes or something, That feeling is so rewarding because it's okay, no, they like me. And then that's when that feeling of feeling seen and feeling validated and feeling loved comes from. Because I decided to not just let a job barely give me any shifts. At one point I decided not to allow a job to enslave me without actually properly paying me. To let a job treat me terribly and expect me to still want to be there. And then as a consequence of that, my safety, in my housing and stuff, is being threatened, food, etc. This is all to me again, I feel like people sometimes see that and they're oh, that's what's expected. But it's because it's expected in the system that we have created. In real life, without the social structure that man has made, my housing and all that shit it would be up to me. It'd be up if I wanted to get that housing, It would be up to if I wanted to eat. And I feel like I got what it takes to fend, in that sense. And I mean, even though I most definitely have, I'm not comparing to like ancient times when like they were really getting it through the mud, but like I've had to get it through the mud. Like, but even with like, even the things that I'm going through with like my rent and sometimes I know how I'm going to eat, there's something that I feel internally that I just cannot get rid of. And that is me like being myself and being able to do the things that I actually want to be doing. Is me standing up for myself and being like, no, you're not going to disrespect me. You're not going to talk to me this way. You're not going to use and abuse me, which capitalism does. And so just going on that process is a bittersweet thing. It is really the only bitter part that comes because of like how much these people want that not to happen. Because being yourself and trusting in yourself and understanding that a lot of the stuff that you need and want can come from you, then makes you not relying on a structure, on a system, which then would not allow certain people to like get whatever they want, how they want it, when they want it. But I'm here to say that even though I'm not on the other side financially, internally, and when it comes to like community, I feel the closest to like true love and safety that I've ever felt. And to me, that's just so much more important. And I do pray though that this leads me into that world that again, I don't have to worry about shit like this. Like rent and stuff like that. But I truly do believe regardless is like, and I've been able to literally see this, like I'm able to come up with the answers and figure out what I need to do when I allow myself to listen to myself, which can only happen once I actually trust that voice and understand what that voice even feels and looks and sounds like, which comes out of like doing everything that isn't this, and like doing everything that is this.